When I held Zalia for the first time, I mean, I'm so glad and so grateful that you recorded that moment because
Yeah.
it was such a special moment, and like I didn't hold back. Um, what do we want to talk about?
Being first time parents.
Being first time parents. Um, so I'll start with you. What was your first like moment when you were like, "Dang, I'm actually a mom"?
Not until I got the hang of things and like really realized like how she was and like understood her. And then it got to the point where like I almost could tell you like through like a certain look she gave, her cries and everything. Like that's when I started realizing like, oh yeah, I'm her mom.
Yeah.
I guess when I finally like got to know her.
Hey, I'm just struggling with my mic.
Why?
Sorry about that. Again, this is our first time we're doing a podcast, so we're just trying to figure this out and get comfortable with it. So I guess I'm gonna answer my own question too.
Okay.
The first time, it'll be a little different. It's like kind of like when I felt like connected, not necessarily like a dada, because I don't really know when that was. But like the first time I was like, obviously I loved her from the moment we found out we were pregnant. But like, I guess when it all clicked and like I really felt connected to her was whenever she mouthed "I love you"
Mm-hmm.
when she was like, what, 5 weeks old.
Yeah.
So I remember like that moment will always kind of be with me and kind of signified our relationship in a
Yeah.
weird way. So that was mine. So I'm gonna ask you that kind of same question while we're on that topic of like, when did you feel like super connected with her?
I guess when she finally started like feeding well on me, when we got that figured out. Because at first it was kind of like a struggle
Right.
for her to latch or like not get frustrated.
Mm.
And it made me feel like, what's wrong with me? And so I think when we finally figured that out, it was like the first time I felt like connected to her.
Yeah, because another thing too was everybody was like, "Oh, you're gonna get to do skin to skin with her," blah blah blah. I didn't do skin to skin with her till like it felt like what till we got home, really, right? So I don't know. It was just all those kind of different things of trying to find that connection because you kind of got to connect with her for like 9 months in a sense.
Yeah.
I know it's different, but still. Sorry, I know you have questions for me too. So
I just want to know, like, what you felt like when you watched her come out. Because I didn't watch her come out because my eyes were closed and I was just pushing. But you got to, like, see her come out.
Yeah.
Or, like, the process of her coming out.
Dude, that was so real because, all right, let me tell you guys, I did not want to watch. Like, I remember specifically saying I did not want to look down there just because I don't know. I'm the kind of person that I get really grossed out easily, and it doesn't mean like I don't have a weak stomach. It's just like I don't particularly care for anything nasty. I'm not saying that childbirth is nasty because it was far from that. But for example, Brielle thinks like her comedy is like a 5-year-old boy, if that makes sense, right? She thinks poo and fart jokes are the funniest thing on the planet. And I'm not like that. Like, I don't care for any of that kind of stuff. I don't know. Anyway, I say all that to say, I really did not think I was going to look down there. Okay. I thought I was going to be like looking at Brielle's face the whole time, telling her that she's okay. And I was. But when all the nurses and doctors was like, "Oh my gosh, she has so much hair. Oh my gosh, we can see her head." I'm like, "Oh my," like,
It makes you want to
it was I was so in the moment. It almost kind of here's a perfect way to put it. Remember how on our wedding day, how we were so scared of the ceremony because we were like, we don't really show our affection like a lot publicly.
Yeah.
Okay, it sounds weird. So, but nothing else mattered. It was just me and you and like our love, right? And nothing else mattered. So it was kind of like that. Like nothing else mattered. And it was such a pure and like a moment that is indescribable, but I'm going to do my best of it was exciting but calming in a weird sense. Like nothing else mattered in the world.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hit it too much because it does a weird little zzz noise. I don't know why.
It felt the same to me. Like, it was like peaceful,
Yeah.
but then also like exciting because it was like everybody was like telling me like, come on, you got this, you
Yes.
got this. It was like constant, like everybody
Dude.
was like kind of like loud and saying a bunch at once,
Yeah.
but it wasn't overwhelming for me. It was like
No.
peaceful.
It would because they were all so positive.
Yeah.
And again, I'm gonna say thank you to the nurses and doctors that was in that room because you guys really made it such an amazing experience because of all the encouraging words and like pushing Brielle on and telling her that she could do it, that she's amazing, that she's got it, that she's doing so good. And it was just, oh, I don't know. It was just, nothing was nasty to me at all. All the women in my family that I can remember at least, they all had C-sections.
Yeah.
You wanna come by us? You wanna come by us? So every woman around me, that I can remember had a C-section, a surrogate. Wait, a surrogate? What is it called? A cesarean? What is it called?
A cesarean.
A cesarean surgery?
It's a C-section.
Okay, a C-section, whatever. I was trying to be professional. I'm sorry. Our daughter is, again, like we said, we didn't know if we were going to really be able to go on with this podcast because she kind of just woke up as soon as we sat down to film. So that was kind of my experience. I remember just the more hair I seen of hers and like the more of her head I seen, like the more excited I was like, come on, babe, come on, you can do it. Like, push it, push, girl, push.
Yeah, I
Like,
remember hearing you.
yeah, dude, I was getting so excited for you. And I was just like, come on, girl, you got this, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. You kind of spoke a little bit on like how it felt. You kind of the same, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything different or?
I remember when she came out, like when she was actually out,
Mhm.
they told me like look down because when I was pushing, I was just focused on pushing. What?
When you were talking, I didn't see any levels on it, so you might need to get closer.
Hello?
Talk.
Hello?
There we go. I just need to turn you up a little bit.
I was just really focused, so my eyes were closed. So whenever they like said, "Okay, she's out," look down, and then that's when I seen her, and I seen like them, and I kind of like reached and grabbed her and put her on my chest too.
Mhm.
And
What was the first thing I said?
the first thing you told me was that she has a dimple.
Mhm.
Um,
As soon as she come out, I was like, babe, she has a dimple.
yeah, and I just remember first seeing the head of hair, and I was like, "What the heck?" And it
We
was
did not
dark.
expect that.
And that she did not look how I expected her to.
Yeah. I remember the first thing I thought about was like, that is not the lips I thought you had.
Yeah.
You know, like I remember being like, she doesn't have your lips, babe. Or like,
I said that to you. I said she doesn't have my lips, and you were like,
yeah.
"Yeah, she doesn't." Because in the ultrasound they looked bigger,
Yeah.
but I know like in like everything's more like fuller
Right.
in the 4D ultrasound because it's
Doesn't
like
mean
fluid
that
and
she's
full.
not gonna grow into him. You know.
I don't
maybe.
think. I think she has
She
your
has
lips.
my lips. All right. Anyway, okay. I see you have like 10 more questions.
Yeah,
so
but
it's
it's
like-
your turn to ask a question.
I mean, I kind of asked like 2 at the start, though. You only asked me 1 so far.
Oh, okay. Do you feel like you bonded with her right away?
Well, I kind of already touched on that. Like when I really felt
No.
connected and
I'm not talking about connected. Like,
okay.
like
Like, what
did
do you
you
mean by
feel
bond,
the way you thought you'd feel right away? Maybe that. Like you've always wanted a daughter, so
Right.
I'm saying like right
mean,
after.
So right after she was born, I didn't really get to hold her. It felt like until like 2 hours later.
Mm-hmm.
Because not because of anything was wrong or whatever. It was just you were having your time with her. I think even like you try to breastfeed, if I'm not
Yeah, I
mistaken.
had skin to skin. I think like that took like an hour.
Right. And then her nurse, Zalia's nurse, took her, did all her weighing, all her the footprints, measurement, all that kind of good stuff. And then I finally got to hold her.
Yeah.
So if you're asking me like, did I bond with her like right at like how fast it took me or whatever, like it felt like a long time. But yes, when I held Zalia for the first time, I mean, I'm so glad and so grateful that you recorded that moment because it was such a special moment. And like, I didn't hold back. Like I was just everything that I ever wanted and felt from since I was a child was like all like my I don't know, like my dreams came true in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, same thing like when okay, I'm not trying to be cheesy, but like same thing like when I look at you every day. Like genuinely. Like I'm being so serious. It's like I always wanted you. I always seen a life with you, or like even if it wasn't a life with you, you know what I'm saying? Like beforehand, like when I wanted to get married and stuff like that, before I met you, like I just knew I always wanted to be a husband, be a dada, be, and just have a companion. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that I'm a kind of lone wolf type person. Like I feel like I need
Yeah,
people
definitely.
around me. It definitely people that are supporting me, and
Mhm.
you fill that role so well. Um, I was gonna say like not as much anymore since we have Zalia, but like I don't really find that to be 100% true. I think it's just energy is different, if that makes sense. It's not that you don't support me. It's just like obviously your energy is going towards her, which is it should.
Yeah.
It's just like for example, like I have to go teach like about an hour and a half away, and before when I went to go do that, or maybe even longer, it might be 2 hours. Like you could just come with me,
Yeah.
whatever. To whereas now it's like I'm going alone
Yeah.
because we have a daughter, and like that's the kind of stuff that um I don't want to say sucks, but like kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's different, right? So anyway, I feel like I'm kind of going on a different like train right now, but so the question was that, yeah, I kind of
Keep hitting
just
it.
kind of hold it. I know we need to figure out our setup, but it's okay. I think we're doing good.
It's just really close to me, so when
Yeah.
I'm trying to move.
I didn't want to turn it up more because you hear like a staticky when you turn it up, and I just need some like help and support. So I turned the gain as low as possible, so it needs to be as close to our mouth as possible. So you don't hear that staticky, but you hear our voice nice and crisp.
Ew.
Okay. Um, so my next question is, um, growing up, when you thought about having a family and stuff like that, um, is your life somewhat similar to that? Is it vastly different? Is it exactly what you expected it to be? Like how does that look? Cuz like I kind of touched on that just now was life right now is everything I've ever wanted and envisioned. Um or not okay. Like obviously I have more goals and stuff like that, but it's on a trajectory. How do you say that word? Trajectory? You know
I
that?
don't know that word.
Okay, so basically like I can tell like my life's on the path that I've always
Oh, okay.
wanted. And like I feel like it's just like level one basically, and we're just gonna like we're gonna keep going on that trajectory to newer and new heights. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Like even just this podcast is so dope to me. Like it's something I've always wanted to do.
Yeah. Well,
You
you
know?
kind of did before, but it just
Yeah, I did. It
didn't
just didn't work
last.
out. Right.
Okay, so I guess the best way is to tell you, like, what's different. First of all, I didn't think that I'd live in a tiny home.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Yeah. No,
Um,
me either. I did think I
I
was gonna
thought I'd
build
be
my
with
house.
somebody,
So.
like, I didn't think I'd be with somebody that worked nighttime.
Mm,
That sounded weird. At night, that's what I
right.
meant to say. Like, just a normal job. Because
You
that's
always
all I
thought
was
just a
around.
normal
Yeah,
job.
like, I mean, my dad did that, like, left in
Mhm.
the morning, came home at, like, 5. Like,
Right. I
so I
never
didn't
wanted
think
that.
that. And then when it came to, like, kids, I always pictured definitely more than one kid, obviously.
Yeah.
But, like, it's weird because right now I feel like I can't even think about, like,
Another
another
one.
kid.
Really?
Not saying I don't want them, but,
Right.
like, I have her and, like, I just feel like, there's no way I could, like, love another kid like that. I know
Really?
it's possible. I know I'm not saying, like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know it's
yeah.
gonna happen, but, like,
So I'm kind of opposite,
I
actually.
know this dude already wants more
Like
kids. Like, he already is thinking about other kids.
I am, and I'm not
I
even gonna
know.
lie to you because at first I wasn't. I'm like, dude, there's no way. Like, how can we get another kid and like whatever, like love? But just seeing how much she's growing, like grown already, and it's only been 4 months.
Yeah,
Like
it goes by fast.
I told you today, like she feels like she's like 6, 8 months
Yeah.
to me. Like how she acts and how she like does things. I'm like, she's ready to start crawling. Like she's gonna start. Like she's, I already think she should start eating food. Not
No,
like, not really, but I'm just saying, like that's how she acts to me. You know what I'm saying? Like
I don't see it that way.
I
I
know.
definitely
So
think she's like advanced and she's definitely like, dang girl.
yeah,
But I still
And I
look
miss
at
you
her
pregnant.
as a baby. Oh, I miss
I
being
do.
pregnant.
I'm not even gonna lie. Like
I
that
loved
was
being
such
pregnant.
a fun time, in my opinion.
Yes.
And like you were,
I
like you
felt
were
so
like
good.
God sent. You looked gorgeous pregnant.
Yeah, I
Like
liked
next
being
time we get
I was
pregnant.
the most confident pregnant. I felt the best
I
pregnant.
know. I don't.
Everything was like
Which
leveled
is,
out. It
and that's
felt
just
like.
you, babe. Like you were just that. You were just golden like that. You were like,
Thanks.
maybe I should say platinum. Like, isn't platinum better than gold?
I
I
like
don't know.
gold better than platinum.
Okay, so you're just like golden like that, right?
Yeah, I liked being
And
pregnant a lot.
so, I don't even know. Anyway, I can just envision.
My
Like,
labor went the way that I thought
that's
it
what I'm
would.
saying. Like, it just,
Like I always envisioned.
I just feel like you were destined to be pregnant, like all the time. And
Yeah, me
I
too.
would love to just.
But I'm not ready for that yet.
No, I was about to say something that sounded really kind of wrong, so I just stopped myself. I was gonna say, and I just want to get you pregnant all the time, and like I didn't mean it like that. I just meant like,
You want me to be pregnant all the
yeah,
time.
because like you're cute, and like I love kids, and Zalia
Yeah,
would be an amazing big
I'm not
sister.
ready for that yet.
And since we're talking about like names, and like we have
Yeah,
names
we already
set in
have
stone,
names, but I just feel like I need more time with her.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna have 9 months.
I still need more time.
And we have to figure out how to
I didn't
make
think
this
that
tiny home bigger before we have more
definitely.
kids.
I didn't think that she would look the way she does when I envisioned my kid.
You told us that already. Like when she came
No,
out,
no,
you said
no,
that.
no. I mean, like, I always envisioned my kids with like dark hair, and just not looking exactly like you, because I didn't know that I'd be with you. You know.
You're funny. Do you not like that or something?
Oh, I do. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. We made a video about this, and like, I don't want people to think that I'm like.
I'm about to say
weird.
One of our newest TikTok videos, you talk about how
Yeah.
you were actually crying at the fact that she looked
sad.
like me.
It's like a weird thing. Like, I always said being pregnant, like, I hope she comes out looking like you. I want her to have your dimples, and I want her to have the little mole by his lip. I think it's so cute. I also said your eyes. I did say that. Anyways, so I would always say that, and then we'd always be like, will she have your quirky pinky? But I always said, like, I feel like I want her to look like you. But we both wanted her to have, like, that sounds wrong. Like, I don't mean, like, want her, but, like,
Envisioned, I guess you can say, yeah.
Her to have my lips, like, my mouth.
I said that because Brielle's lips.
No, I wanted that too.
I know, but I'm just saying for me, like you have the most beautiful lips like ever, like coloring,
Thanks.
shape, fullness. Should I go on or?
You're good.
Okay.
So, what was I saying?
You were saying like with things that you kind of envisioned our daughter to have.
No, I was talking about how I like how that she looks like you. So like I like that she looks like him, but it's like a weird thing where like when you have other people come up to you and like tell you that they try to find something that looks like me, it just kind of is a little bit like, well, dang. Like, it's different if you're like, wow, she looks so much like Carson. Like, I don't mind those comments, clearly. Because I'll be like, yep. Or, like, some people have been like, who does she look like? I'm trying to figure it out. And I'm like, Carson. She literally looks like Carson. How does that not? Whatever.
Right.
But it's a different thing, and it feels different when somebody is like, she looks nothing like you. Or, like, I'm trying to figure it out. I mean, I try so hard to look at her and see something of you, but I can't. And I guess, like, I don't know why it bothers me. It probably shouldn't bother me. But it just feels a little bit like I wanted to hold my daughter next to me and people be like, oh, that's her daughter. And it feels a little weird that it's, like, not the case.
Yeah. I think what I really do believe this is it's just she looks like me right now because, like, my baby pictures and all that kind of stuff. But as she grows, I think people are going to be like, oh my gosh, she's like a mini you. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's her mannerisms
when she grows,
or whatever.
She'll be more of a mixture of us. But it's weird because, like, I can see things. And I don't know if it's, like, when I was a baby, like, I just see things or, like...
What do you mean, see things?
Like, I can see things in her that look similar to me.
Are you trying to say that you're a psychic right now? Like,
maybe. Sometimes I feel like I am.
Oh, lordy lord.
I'm not kidding. Like, I really do. Because, like, Not like a sidekick, but
I'm
like
gonna say,
I
I
feel
don't know what you're
things.
trying to say
I
right
am
now.
like that.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
I
I know.
knew she was a girl.
I know. I did too.
100,000%. Like you doubted it once. I
Okay,
never doubted
once
it.
because I thought I seen a little something, something like a
But I
little.
never doubted it.
I
I'm
thought I seen
saying.
a hot
Like
dog or
I knew
something.
she was a girl.
I'm not gonna lie. In one of the ultrasounds, but it's fine.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just knew like. I just feel like I know her. It's like I can see through her.
I was thinking with that, talking about like what our daughter will like or not like, and this kind of goes in, I guess, of becoming a parent is putting our likes onto her. And I don't want Zalia to feel like she has to like Star Wars because her dada does.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you guys don't know this about me, like I am a huge Star Wars fan. Like
Yeah, like really huge.
yeah, I mean, not to the point where
He's not like.
I'm not like I'm just bigger than what you would think. Let's put it like that.
Yeah,
right?
you're not like ridiculous.
Like I know a lot of the stuff that your normal day-to-day people will be like, what are you talking about? You know, and anyway, I say all that to say I don't want her to feel like she has to like that because I like it. Same thing with dance. But a part of me is like, but that's such a big staple in not just my life, but like our relationship too. That I feel
yeah,
like
that
it's
goes
just
into a
gonna
lot.
be
Like if I wasn't raised in a family that thought that farts and poo was funny, then would I think that? You do things that your entire family does.
No, my entire family doesn't dance in like Star Wars.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like your interests. You have a lot of interests that like everyone in your family does, and
you think?
Yeah. Your mindset and everything, like.
No, I definitely think no. Okay, I feel like we're kind of talking about two different things because I do believe that how you were raised like does kind of mold, you know,
Well,
like
100% it
your
molds
view
you.
set and stuff like that. But I don't necessarily think it makes you.
Well, no, you as an individual have
Yeah,
different
that's
interests
what I'm
than the rest.
saying.
But I'm
It's just
saying.
how you're wording it sounds a little.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that like everybody should have their own interests. I feel like that's what makes you like an individual. I mean, if everybody liked the same thing, then people wouldn't just be them.
Right. Like for
but
example,
I do think that I'm not just talking about like, oh, I love Star Wars, I love to dance. I'm talking like it goes deeper than that because it's like you don't like certain things because you grew up and your family didn't like certain things. You think like his family won't go to like he doesn't like a fair. Your mom doesn't like fairs. Y'all never went to fairs because your mom always told you things about fairs.
Right.
So now when I grew up going to a fair, so like it almost brings back like nostalgia to me. Like every time we pass like a fair, and I'm like, oh, I remember those good times. But like you're like, yeah, no, we're never going there.
Yeah, I mean that's a good example. But then again, I can say at the same time, like my experiences when I did go to a fair, they weren't like, man, my mom was wrong about this. Like, these are fun, these are cool. Like I didn't get that.
But you also were used to Disney World.
Right, and maybe that is it. Maybe it's like my my tastes were refined, I guess you could say, or different. But you grew up going to Disney too, you know. So it's
Not
just
like
different.
you, though.
Oh, okay. So, but let me say this though too is like going to a fair. That's a good example. But I'm gonna also say this: like growing up, we weren't allowed to watch Harry Potter. We weren't allowed to do those kind of things. Now I know my mom has changed and she's different with my other siblings, but when I got older and I was like, you know what, let me try it. Let me see if I feel the same convictions my mom felt over it.
Yeah.
Whatever. And I actually really enjoy
No,
Harry Potter.
I feel like that happens.
So I know, but it kind of goes. I think it goes hand in hand with what you're saying. Is like that, and that's what I was trying to say. Is like, yeah, sure, how you were raised helps mold you into the person you are, but it doesn't necessarily define who you are and your likes 100%.
But here's the difference.
Okay.
As you got older, and you became your own person,
Right.
in a sense, you felt that. You have yet to go to a fair right now in your adult whatever life. Huh?
I did.
When?
So when I was working at Smoothie King, I went and I worked the fair for a little bit. And now I know it's not going to a fair or whatever, but I still like the atmosphere, the energy from a fair does not feel good to me.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, I just am saying, like, in
Remember on a
some
honeymoon?
cases, like, when you're younger and your
No,
parents
I
can
know.
mold your thinking
Right.
and your opinions,
Right.
it's different other than, like, when you finally
Forming
get
your
out
own
of that
opinion.
and you're
Right.
like, oh, I'm my own person and I
agree.
feel this way. So I guess it's
agree.
just, like, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. Like, if I felt like a fair was, like, not a good environment to bring my kids, then clearly, like, I wouldn't bring my kids.
Right.
But when it's like a fine line because you don't want to do anything that, like, affects when they're older and, like, when they want to enjoy something or whatever. Because, like, my family did that, is, like, instilled fear in me with certain things that I wish that they didn't.
Right.
Because, whatever, I know we have completely different childhoods, so it's different.
Right.
Like, affairs, nothing compared to, like,
No,
other things. But, like,
it's just an example.
I just feel like I just hope that she does have her own feelings and opinion and, like, can voice that to us and, like, really tell us how she feels about certain things.
And I think that's our job to kind of instill that in her. I was thinking about that.
Oh, no, I don't. Like,
right.
I guess it's, like, everybody. Like, you have to try it out yourself to even know how you feel.
Right. So, like, that kind of goes, we can kind of slide into, like,
I want her to do that.
Homeschooling real quick, you know, if you want, because we were both homeschooled majority of our time. Like, you went to, I think, 5th grade. Yeah. And then you started, I was going to say high school, homeschool.
Yeah.
And then I only went to 1st grade and I started doing homeschool. And I always say I'm very grateful for my time being homeschooled because I personally feel like it really helped me develop my own way of thinking.
Yeah.
And that's what I really want for our daughter as well. Because I'm just going to, real quick example, I feel like we're getting to the 30-minute mark and I think we should kind of wrap up. But maybe we can pick this topic up next time, like how we're going to, like, raise our daughter now that we talked about kind of how we're being first time parents. But just something food for thought is I want to raise her to think for herself. And perfect example, or maybe not perfect example, but an example is, you know, me and Brielle were doing math problems, right? And I can do math in a very different way Brielle's capable of doing math. Brielle's way of doing math is how school taught her, right? To whereas my way of math is how I had to teach myself.
How he figured it out.
How I figured it out personally. And so I just really enjoyed that factor of, even when we're just talking, like, hi, how did you get that math problem? I always, like, have a smile on my face because I'm like, I'm grateful for how my brain was capable of thinking in that way because I was never taught in a curriculum type way. Does it make sense?
But that's another fine line because it's like...
Well, no, yeah, I definitely think she needs to know her basics and stuff like that and whatever.
I know what you're about to say. No, you just have to know how to navigate in the world that we live in.
Right. But I'm just saying, like...
I don't care how she figures out the math
That's
problem.
What I'm saying. No, I want her to figure out how to navigate it in her own way. Yeah. Just like I personally feel like I figured out how to navigate it in my own way.
Like, if she gets... What I think school is...
We can talk about that next time. Yeah, I know.
Well, it goes into what you're saying. It's just that if you get the answer right, it's going to be wrong if you didn't show it in the way that they want you to show how you saw it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, like,
so I don't agree with that.
I don't care if she gets the answer right.
Right.
I'm not going to be like, well, how'd you do that? And if it's not the way that it should have happened, like, clearly that doesn't matter.
See, I would just want to ask her, how'd you get that, just to know how her little brain works.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so not necessarily to fail her or pass her. It was just more of, like, interest
I'm not saying that. I'm just
how
saying
is her little
in
mind
school,
working.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
But
so anyway,
it just feels, I don't know.
Yeah.
The whole question was if this was my life that I envisioned, and it's weird because it's like the feelings.
So off topic,
the feelings is what I expected, yes, and like what I envisioned, like how it feels to have a family. But no, not at all.
The
like
materialistic part of it, I guess.
Not at all. Like what is actually going on, like around me and how.
The physical aspect of it.
But then again, like you were a kid, like you just said, that was really you were like unschooled.
Right. And again, we can talk about that next time.
Yes. So you kind of had more, I feel like your brain kind of explored more in things. 100%. And it's like mine didn't do that. So like all the stuff that was going on in my childhood
was very different. Yeah. You didn't have that luxury.
I just feel like it was very like black and white for me. And it was just like, I'm going to have kids. I'm going to be a mom. And like, I didn't like think I'm going to have, like Carson later was like, I'm going to have a girl first. And she's probably going to have green eyes. And she's going to like, you thought...
things through.
You pictured her in like her whole life almost.
Yeah. And I did the same thing with my life.
Yes, like
yeah.
I just think I just want to have kids, be a mom, have a family.
Yeah.
And I didn't think any further than that.
Yeah. I can get that. I mean, you didn't have that luxury too. Let's just leave it at that, you know. And yeah, it's up to you if one podcast you want to discuss all that kind of stuff. But for now,
next one should definitely be
next one's like how we plan on raising her and stuff. And yeah, I think that's beautiful. Did you have like any other like closing questions though?
Let me check.
Like any good closing questions? Okay, look, I never get text messages really, and I have so many people texting me.
That's funny.
Like even like a neighbor.
I guess the only other question I had about that was, has your feelings changed since the longer we've had her about her? Like,
that's a good closing question. Yeah. So have my feelings changed about her the longer that she's been a part of our lives? Yeah. And I think that is a yes, but in the most positive way.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna say the only negative thing is kind of like what we spoke about earlier, how like she, like, you can't really come with me to do certain things, or like if we wanted to just, I don't know, go somewhere, so it's more difficult. Not that we're incapable of doing that now that she's here, because I've always said, like, I don't want to have a child, which is something such a blessing and a miracle, to put a negative impact on how we live.
Yeah.
But it does make things a bit more difficult. Doesn't mean we're not capable.
It's like not even difficult, it's just not as easy.
What do you think difficult means, dude?
I just view it as different.
Okay, that's fine. You can view it
different. No, like, I feel like when you're saying it's difficult, like, it's like hard, but it's like, I don't think it's hard. I just think it's not as like, what's that word I'm looking for? Like, efficient.
Yeah.
Like,
I can
let's
understand.
Go.
Right. We can't just drop things at a dime and go. Like, you gotta pack
everything
a little
has to be thought about. Like, even tonight, we're going to a dinner, and I'm just thinking, like, okay, I have to give her a bottle before, because, like, sometimes she'll be feeding on me for, like, 45 minutes. But, like, with the bottle, I know, like, it's probably about, like, 15, 20 minutes. Right. And then, you know, you gotta make sure she's burped, she's good before you put her in the car.
Right.
And then it's, like, while we're there, it's, like, she does not like to be just sitting in the car seat. So it's, like, she's definitely gonna have to be held, which is fine. Or that. Yeah. But she just doesn't like to sit down in something. Long. She just wants to be, like, in it.
Yeah.
So
she's
I guess
like a part of the family already. It's so cute.
I guess everything's thought about is what I'm trying to say. And so, yeah, it's not as, like, efficient and easy. Mm-hmm. But we can't imagine our life without her.
No,
and we wouldn't want to. So, like,
are we going off topic a little bit? So,
no.
We're not? Okay. Mm-hmm. So, how I feel about her, though, is, like, my love grows for her more and more
every day,
especially when she like hits another milestone, like when she, like, when you just look at her, especially in the morning, or when she wakes up, okay, like, you can be doing something and she just wakes up with all the lines, like, all over her face, and, like, you could tell, like, she has, like, that little, like, wake up face.
So
and then she's like looking around. If for just our just our listeners, I was making a face that she makes.
She's, like, squinting her eyes trying to wake them up, and then you'll look at her and she'll focus on you.
Because she tries to find us, right?
Yeah.
And then when she finds us, she stares, and then we look at her, and, like, when we make that eye contact, she just gets the biggest smile
ever.
And it's the cutest thing ever.
Yeah, like, and it makes me just want to go over there and kiss her face off. No matter what, if me and Carson look at her, she's smiling huge, like, which I think is so cute.
Probably 8 out of 10 times.
She 9. Always smiles at me.
Yeah, you're like 9 out of 10. Mine's like 8 out of 10. I feel like, because sometimes she just, like, save me, dada, and she just wants me, like, to comfort her. It feels like sometimes, like, that's the face I get from her sometimes. From
me?
No, just like in general, like if she doesn't want to be in her little bouncer anymore, she's like, she's not gonna always smile at me. She'll be like,
sometimes I catch her.
Sometimes
I catch her smiling at me. When I'm not even looking at her, like, I'll look over, and, like, the whole time she was smiling at me.
You told me that she did that to me earlier. Like, I wasn't even paying attention to her.
She got
off me.
Yeah, she got off of me feeding, and then she, like, caught Carson, and then she, like, literally just smiling at him, and he was, like, not even looking at her.
Yeah,
it was cute.
So, anyway, that's how we feel.
Wait, are you gonna ask me?
Well, you kind of were describing the same thing.
Oh, yeah. So every single day it grows, and it grows, and it grows, and you're like, how does it grow? How does it grow? Because you really don't understand how it can grow, but it just does. It grows every single day, and you just love her more every single day.
Right.
And another thing is, like, is starting to like show that she loves us so much, and it
Mm.
makes us love her even more.
Like today, I picked her up and she laid her little head on my shoulder, and it's just
I know that,
love
and then
it.
that
Oh,
makes your heart grow even more.
yes.
Oops, I hit this.
It's okay. All right, that was a good podcast. Good first time podcast. I can't wait to do our first time second podcast next week. This is fun.
Yeah.
And it's actually like it's kind of therapeutic. I feel like a little bit.
Well,
for,
yeah, you
for me
should
and
always talk
too.
about your feelings.
Yeah, and like this isn't just for necessarily you guys listening or watching. It's kind of for us too, because I don't know. I like this. I like talking to you, boo. And like actually taking the time out and like for a reason to talk.
Yeah, because you don't like just think to do that sometimes. But
Right.
this is like a reason and
A reason and like
excuse too.
an excuse too. Exactly.
But yeah, so I think in the next episode should definitely be like how we plan on raising or like our views on raising kids.
We might get a little heated.
I might. I don't think you will.
No.
You're
very
yeah, I
passionate.
Yeah. No, you're passionate.
passionate.
I'm
Aggravated. And,
irritable.
Irritable. Yes, that's a great way to put it. All right, so I speak passionately. If you don't know, my name's Carson Matranga. I am Melanie Brielle Matranga's husband. I was about to say wife.
Okay, well now they're gonna be confused. My first real legal name is Melanie. My middle name is Brielle.
Babe,
but
all your things, isn't it at Melanie Brielle?
It's Brielle Matranga.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, a lot of people do get confused about that, so I just want to clear that because when I started this podcast, I said Brielle Matranga and you just said Melanie. Sorry. My legal first name is Melanie, but I was never intended to be called that. My parents knew I was Brielle, but my mom's first name is Melanie, so they just did that. But I've never been called Melanie in my entire life, so don't even think about it. Even though Melanie Matranga sounds better. And I have the 2 M earrings on, and I keep thinking in my brain, Melanie Matranga.
All right. Anyway, we got to wrap this up. How do we wrap up our podcast? Thank you so much for listening and watching. This is our first time podcast, the best first podcast you probably ever will hear.
He's trying to sell it.
Yeah. I mean, no, I'm trying to figure out a little outro. I feel like it'd be cool if we can figure out something.
We could say it's never too late for it to be the first time.
Dude, that's pretty good. It's never too late to be the first time.
It's never too late.
So get out there and try it.
So never be afraid
to just do it.
To just do it.
We're kind of stealing that from Nike, but whatever. It's fine. It's never too late to try it or to do it for the first time. Maybe?
It's never too late for the first time.
It's never too late for the first time. Thanks so much for watching or listening.
Hope you enjoyed.
Bye. Love you.